Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Welcome to the inaugural show of Nightcap with Messaround. Tonight we're just going to be talking about various sports, college football, baseball. And let's start run this thing. It's his idea to do the show, so go ahead and take over, Sarge.
All right. Well, as you can see, I have the stash cam because no one else has a stash like I do. So we're joined with Crispy Bacon, Messaround, and that one dude 2020. John, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
That's awesome.
I'm very pissy. So how are y'all doing?
Well, change your diaper because we're going to start going here right now. So,
No, DC needs to hire me because I'm putting on the cape and becoming super mad because of that freaking game.
Yeah. Messaround, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's my Friday. Got the next 2 days off, so a lot of football in store.
Hey, there you go. Can't beat it. But we had a lot of football today, and there's a few games that are handfuls that were surprising. We're going to start off with Notre Dame as they got upset by Marshall, and now Notre Dame is what, 0-2 now?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and Notre Dame does not have like an offense or defensive line because Marshall, they won the trenches today. Their main running back for Marshall ran 163 yards on 33 attempts and like 3 touchdowns. John, what was your take on that game if you watched it?
First of all, clearly they need to have an arrest warrant out for Notre Dame because the whole defensive line was missing. I mean, this is Marshall. This is not known for Marshall's going to have a 33 carry for $167 and 3 touchdowns. I mean, come on, Notre Dame. You might as well. You're like that person that says, "No, I promise you that ID's not fake." Yeah, freaking more. You're one of the most fraudest college football teams because people hype them up and like Notre Dame. You lost to Marshall. We don't talk about Marshall in football. My coach's name is Marshall. I don't give a flying crap about Marshall football. They beat them. Notre Dame just quit the season, go to the Hamptons, and go ready to chick flick because your season's over.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Notre Dame's season is definitely over, and I don't think they're going to be seen in the top 25 after next week. Crispy Bacon, what are you thinking about that?
Yeah, that was a devastating loss. I don't know if they're going to recover from it or, get back in the top 25. But, I mean, I guess the only time we do talk about Marshall is in movies.
Because we are Marshall.
Yeah, I made that comment in the chat group that we have, and they said, "How could Marshall beat Notre Dame?" And I said, "Because we are Marshall." Nobody commented on it. Nobody laughed at it. I thought it was great. They won because we are Marshall.
I probably missed it. How that
movie, though. They also produced Randy Moss and Chad Pennington.
No, I don't want to talk about Randy Moss because Marshall, they were in the league below when Randy Moss was in because Randy Moss actually played against the University of Montana for the championship game for 2 straight years, and he destroyed Montana. So I remember those games pretty well with that one. So,
not very friendly, huh?
No, it was not very friendly. So moving along. So Appalachian State, they're kind of like Marshall, but they made a big upset against Texas A&M. Messaround, I'm going to start with you. Any thoughts on that one?
Well, I didn't watch the game, but it seems like Appalachian State pulls off an upset every couple of years, so it's not really surprising.
All right, and you know what's crazy about Appalachian State? They played against Notre Dame last week, and that final score was 63-61. And Appalachian State scored 40 points in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And they lost by 2.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh, my God.
Well, Chris, what's your thoughts on Appalachian State? Are they pretenders or are they contenders?
I don't know. I mean, right now it's too early on to tell, but something's working for him, and we're just gonna have to see what happens, and maybe I don't know who they have coming up, but hopefully it's not a fluke.
Alrighty. John, do you think Appalachian State is going to surprise people this season with they lost their first game, but not by much, but they beat a pretty big opponent. What's your thoughts?
They're neither contenders or chicken tenders. At some point, I think they're going to get exposed. I mean, I'm not. I get it's great, and this is what happens. I think sometimes in college football where you have that random upset, and then we talk about this random team. They're a contender. They're going to do something, and then like a week or two later, we forget about it, and half their offensive lines working at McDonald's for $8.75 an hour. So, I mean, it just really depends week by week. But I think it's not like the NFL. So. College football, so at some point, if you are a garbage team, you're going to get exposed, and I think that's what's going to happen with them. So no winner chicken dinner for them.
All right. Yeah, so we're going to continue with the college football because I'm not going to get to this game quite yet, but there's a game that ended not too long ago. It was the Kentucky Wildcats actually upsetting the Florida Gators.
Wow.
Crispy bacon. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, Florida's been up and down the last few years. They got a new coach this year, and probably like many other years, they've had a new coach. Hopefully, this is their resurgence, so to speak, and they can get back in at least a bowl game or maybe a playoff. More likely a bowl game.
Okay, so feeding off of crispy bacon there, John, do you think Florida can actually make the top 10?
Isn't this the same team in 2020 with Kyle Trask, who lost against LSU on a field goal? Who LSU would have went 5-7 that season, 6-6? No, Florida is Florida. I mean, we know they're known for the Florida man stories, not their college football program. At some point. They were relevant for a short time with Tebow and all those that killer team. But no, I mean, this is the same team 2 years ago with their supposed starter that lost against LSU. And so I think it's just the ripple effect. And no, I don't think they're contenders, or maybe a bowl game at best, but that's pretty much it.
All righty. With that, Messaround, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm Florida on the Gators. They're trash. They haven't been good for a while, so they're not going to be good anytime soon.
Oh, sticking to the point. There we go. All right, so I saved this game for the last just for John. So Alabama and Texas, they were one of the early games. They're down playing in Austin, Texas today. Alabama barely squeaks by Texas 20-19. Were you surprised about the score, John?
Yeah, but first of all, who is the dumbass kicker? I think for UT. How on God's green earth do you miss that field goal? The game's on the line, dumbass, and you miss the sack. My biggest criticism of UT up until maybe the last part of the game, their defense can't do crap. You can't cover the pass. You can't cover the run. You can't cover downfield. And you've been able to potentially also take advantage of maybe Alabama didn't have that speedy wide receiver, but they still have a lot of great weapons. And somehow Alabama scored nothing in the third quarter. But no, 12 years in the making. 12 years. You get Quinn Ewers. We're about to score a touchdown. But no, the Alabama player injured Quentin Ewers, and we had Hudson Card. Even though it was close, you got to be honest, though. I mean, dude, Texas played like crap. At the same time, you could say trying to formate a different offense with Hudson Card, with his skill sets, he's maybe not as good throwing deep ball down the field. But this game pissed me off, bro. I mean, I nearly lost my voice. I thought, oh, my God. I was talking to Trevor, like, holy crap, we're going to pull this off. We're going to beat it. 12 years in the making. But no! How do you miss a sack? Are your
So-
freaking hands made of melted butter? Come on, this is stupid. I'm done with this crap.
Somebody should make a meme with the guy with the fishing pole. You almost had it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he lost all of his red hair on that one. So, John, do you think Texas can hang with the SEC after this game?
It's tough because, number one, I don't know when Quinn Ewers is going to come back and how they're going to adjust to the offense with Arch Manning coming in 2023. So Quinn Ewers potentially really is like a 1-year rental, and it could be where, hey, Sam Elliott came in, Michelle went to SMU. Again, I'm not saying he was on the same level as him, but that's tough because I don't know when he's going to be back. I don't know his health status, but I think it proved with the noise, at least with Alabama, that you had some home field advantage. Now, you played terrible. Now, the small bit with Quinn Ewers you had was really good. Again, small part. If you can build on that week by week, you can maybe have some progress here. But I think in a year with Steve Sarkisian where you absolutely cannot have a losing record, especially if you're going to the SEC. But I mean, I think they have a chance to. But again, I think it also really depends on how Quentin Ewers is going to stay healthy. Can Arch Manning stay healthy at Texas? And so that's really the big issue. Because defense, they did their part. Beja Robinson's a dog, but it depending on really how the health of the quarterback position.
All right, Chris, what did you think of the game? Because it was pretty much game of the day, pretty much.
It was. Everybody was talking about it in the media. We were talking about it. I'm just glad it wasn't a, 52-10 kind of game where, Alabama just totally, put up points every quarter, every drive. But it was a fight. I do agree. It was a fight. There's some mistakes that Texas had, but there's also a lot more mistakes Alabama had with holding calls and all that. I think the ref, and I know it's kind of difficult, to officiate, but the whole targeting, but it was a safety, but then it wasn't a safety. I think that kind of hurt a little. But, Texas stayed in it, and I mean, that's good for right now, but you're going to be going up against Alabama every year. You got to do more than just stay in it.
What do you think about though with Texas? What happened? Dang it, dude! I can't. Never mind. I completely forgot.
Good talk there, John. That was good talk. Thank you.
I
Thank you for that
appreciate
insight. Yep. Messaround, did you catch any of that game? And if you have, what's your thoughts? If you didn't, seeing the score, what did you think of that?
I did not watch it, but if you had told me it was a 1-point game, I would have thought Texas would have won.
First of all, nearly 20 penalties, and you're at home, and you still lose? You deserve to lose that game.
Yeah, but I think Alabama's not going to be number one after that, after being lost, because Georgia number 2, they beat Samford. I think I'm saying it right. Samford, wherever their name is, and they beat them 33-0. So I think Texas is, or not Texas. I think Alabama is going to slip to number 2, and Georgia is going to be number 1 after this week. What are you guys' thoughts on that one, Messaround?
I can see that happening because, they barely beat Texas, but I could also see Ohio State getting up there too. They won 45-12 today, and they're third.
Yeah, John.
I mean, it's tough. You were talking about Ohio State. I don't know. I think Ohio State can really do it this year, but I'll be really curious to see what CJ Stroud does do. I do know. I mean, this is kind of related to the topic where who knows how motivated he's going to be out of the win the Heisman. What do they care about most? We can say championships matter most, but we'll just have to see keep the running game going. But I think they had an injury today. Hopefully he'll be fine. But I mean, I'm not a fan of Ohio State. I hope they go 0-22 every year. I know it's not 22 games, but we'll just have to see what happens.
All right. Crispy bacon. What's your thoughts?
What's up?
Do you think Alabama will slip to 2 and Georgia slip to number 1 after this week?
I think Alabama might stay at 1. That was a big win for him, I think.
Yeah.
In their eyes.
You good?
What's up? I think he's having technical issues.
The internet,
All right.
folks, is getting disconnected with his bald head, so it's really internet connection's kind of staticky right now.
It's a porn stat. It's messing up his reception.
All right.
Gosh.
All right. Am I back?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. So I got to apologize on that because I'm in the process of building a house and I don't have internet connection yet. And we bought 5 acres and the reception is very spotty, which I like. So if I have to hide a body, it's perfect. So.
Way to incriminate yourself. Thank you. That's really smart.
Yeah, I know, right? If the glove don't fit, the crime must not fit. So let's move over to baseball a little bit. Like the AL Central wildcard race has been crazy. I mean, we have the Seattle Mariners, the Cleveland Guardians. I had to think about that one because I almost said the Indians on that one.
I do it all the time.
The Chicago White Sox, Minnesota Twins, the Toronto Blue Jays, Tampa Rays, and Baltimore. Who is going to win the wild card? Because I'm taking Seattle, Rays, and let's throw Guardians in there. So, Messaround, I'm going to go with you on that one.
I want to see Seattle winning because they haven't been there in so long. And I want to see Baltimore get there too because they haven't been in a while. Those are 2 teams I'd like to see, but I think anybody coming out of the Central isn't going to win the wild card. They're going to have to win the division and make playoffs.
Okay. So, yeah, Seattle, in all of 5 major sports, Seattle is the only team that has not been in a playoff since 2001. They have the longest streak without being in the playoffs. The last Mariner to be in the playoffs was Ichiro.
Ichiro!
So, all right, Chris, what's your thoughts?
On the 3 wildcard teams?
Yep.
Okay, I'll go Seattle because they haven't been there in so long. We'll go Tampa Bay, and we'll throw in the White Sox.
White Sox, okay. I see it.
I'd be cool with that.
All right, John, who are you taking for your wild card?
I'm just gonna pick one team because I know them the most. I haven't watched enough baseball yet, but I say Seattle, and no, it's not because of the ball man stars that's here. It's more of I think we all want to see in sports a team that hasn't made it in a while get it back into the playoffs. I think that would be a good story. I think Baltimore also would be interesting, but especially Seattle because it's been since when Blockbuster was relevant was the last time that they got into the playoffs. And so I think it would be really good for them, not just for this season, but moving forward. Hey, if we can do it this year, let's see how we can bet on that for 2023 and beyond.
Yeah, believe it or not, the last time the Seattle Mariners were actually in the playoffs is when they when they broke the record, winning 116 games. I mean that's crazy. And during that,
I thought it was 119 for some reason.
In the playoffs, they lost in the first round. Seattle fashion right there. So that's all I got to say about that one.
You set a record and you bounce out in the first round. Good job.
Yeah. So But one thing I want to talk about though is the Mets. Last night they lost the lead of the NL East. Then they gained it back tonight because the Mariners beat the Braves. Did we actually see the final collapse of the Mets, John?
Yes. I don't like any New York sports team, so honestly, yes. But I think it is. We'll take it one game at a time. But I mean, you could see a different shift with Seattle trying to make a playoff push. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Crispy Bacon. We know the Rangers are not close to the playoffs, but what's your thoughts on the Mets?
I know, right? I mean, the Mets they won today, so they're back in it. But I think it is their downfall. I think they've crashed and burned.
Crash and burn, indeed. Messaround?
Yeah, it seems like the Mets always start out hot and then they fade late. So it's coming. We all know it's coming. It's just a matter of time.
All righty. With that, so that's all I got for baseball. But guess what? The NFL actually starts tomorrow, even though we had a game this last Thursday. What?
It does. It does.
Yeah, it does. It does. So I don't know if I'll be watching some of it because I'll be a little bit tied up because, again, I don't have reception where I'm at. So, John, are you excited for some football?
You're darn right. It's been like 3,000 years since we had the Super Bowl in February, so I'm ready for it. I want to see that Panthers and Browns game and see all those, see how those fans react. And really, I want to see how Baker Mayfield responds because that is really a statement game, not for the Panthers, but for him and his starting career in the NFL.
That is true because Sam Darnold came to the Panthers last year, and his first team that he played was the New York Jets, and they just scorched the Jets with that one. So, Chris, are you ready for the Cowboys making it to the playoffs? And
How
Dak
about them
Prescott
Cowboys?
runs it with time running out and slides.
Oh man!
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
Never live it down.
No, I'm ready for the NFL season. I'm ready. It seems like the first week and the last week are interesting and exciting because first week, new coaches, you have those revenge games where players face off against their former teams. And in the last week of the season, you have, playoff clinching matchups and trying to figure out how you're going to be in the playoffs. So, but the whole season's going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely will be. All right, Messaround. Man, take it away on this one.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a new era. We got a new coach, Eberflus. Hopefully he's a lot better than Nagy because I got a horrible, worst coach ever. He actually not the worst. We've had far worse.
Dude, they forgot to call Trubisky on draft night.
They did.
What's even worse is that the Bears have an OSU quarterback, and you know how that goes in NFL history.
Hopefully
Well,
he
it's not even
reverses the
just
curse.
OSU. I think if they can put the pieces around them, because I understand this is just going to be tough for the Bears, but like I said before, and Dave knows this, they got a top 3 most cap space in the league next year, and so this can be an attribution to who they could address next year because they'll be making some money moves for sure.
All righty.
I'm really excited to see what Fields does this year and see if he takes that next step, which shouldn't be hard because he really didn't do nothing his rookie year because mostly Nagy and that terrible offense. But hopefully this is his year.
Is this his second year?
Second, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Awesome, guys. Well, I just want to say I know this was kind of just thrown together in the mix just right off the bat. So thank you guys for showing up. I mean, messing around here today. So, John,
Right.
30 seconds. Go for it.
Screw you, Steve. Screw you to the kicker, and screw you, Nick Saban. It was good just to do a random show. Can't wait for football. And Trevor and I in the morning are going to do Across the Galaxy, so it'll be good. Can't wait for more football, though.
All righty. Chris P. Bacon.
Yeah, it was a great show. I did see on Twitter though that Adrian Peterson and I think Frank Gore are in a boxing match. Who you guys got?
That's stupid. I'm sorry, but that's
It's an exhibition, but
I got
Still.
Gore.
yeah.
Peterson is too easy to be injured. He's glass. Mess around.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on my show with me, guys. Like Sarge said, it's thrown together, but you can catch the show on Mondays at night. I'm not sure what time yet, but it'll be at nighttime. Obviously, nightcap with Mess Around. So, and tomorrow we got tailgate with Crispy and Brandon and myself, and other Tim will be on there too. So, actually, he won't make it this week, but he's usually on there.
Alrighty. As you know, just like Coast to Coast Sports Entertainment. You can find us on Fire TV. You can find us on YouTube, of course, Facebook, and other streaming devices with that. I am the Sarge. You guys, thank you for messing around. Have a good night.